Now, why did I choose a carnivore diet as my elimination diet process? Well, to me, it makes perfect sense because everything that I was doing that the medical industry told me to do, nothing was working. It was just masking symptoms, and I got tired of feeling this way at 34. Now, if you don't know my story and this is your first video, I had fatty liver disease, GERD, Barrett's esophagus, gastritis. I had a cyst on my brain my entire life, a cyst on my liver, hypertension, prediabetes, candida. I was overweight, and all these things were happening when I was 34 years old. Now, my whole life, I ate an entirely processed diet. A lot of carbohydrates, a lot of, box dinners and things like that. And I didn't know no better. I stayed active a lot when I was a kid, but once I got older, these things really started to hit me. Now, I thought that I was having a heart attack one day. I had a GERD attack so bad. See, my GERD was so bad that my throat would completely close up and I could not breathe at all. I would have to make myself throw up so that I could breathe again. And I am not exaggerating that story. If you are dealing with that, please let me know in the comments. I want to encourage you. And this video is for people like yourself. Now, the gastritis pain used to be so bad it'd go around my entire lower body. I would even feel it up here in my neck. And, like I said, I thought I was having a heart attack one day. And I went to the hospital and they told me, hey, everything's okay. All your numbers are good. Your labs are good. It's just, you have GERD. And we need to get you set up with a doctor in town and we'll see what's going on. But until then, just, follow up with your family doctor. And I'm like, are you sure? I thought that I was having a heart attack back at the house. I mean, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I could not breathe. Like, I'd wake up in a panic because I'd have acid reflux so bad. And I didn't know that this stuff can mess with you like that. Like, I'd have heart palpitations, I'd have all kinds of stuff going on, and it sent me into panic attacks to where I thought that I was literally dying, and it was the scariest experiences that I've ever had. Now, once I started finding some doctors that were trustworthy online, they started talking about the carnivore diet, the keto diet, low carb in general, Atkins, things like that. It piqued my interest, and obviously it's piquing your interest as well because you clicked on this video to watch, and I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to share my story to you today, and I'm just going to go through a hike in one of my favorite places to hike in town, and I'm just going to talk to you. It's going to be more of just a raw video, really unedited, and let me know if you appreciate these videos because, I do a lot of cooking videos on here. I do a lot of explaining what the diagnosis that I was dealing with, what's going on in the body, a lot of things like that. I give you progress updates every single week because this process that I was talking about, that I'm going to be talking about, I did this 3 years ago. I was 34 at the time. I'm getting ready to turn 37 this month. And I was able to completely reverse all those things. And I want to just help people. So if you wouldn't mind helping me out, then please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. It's going to notify you every single time I upload a video, and that's going to help get me pushed out into the algorithm so that I can encourage people like yourself. So I want to go to the park and continue the conversation. So now I'm here at the park. Man, I'm so thankful for warmer weather again. Like, that was a rough winter here in Virginia. But the goal with this channel is to fill the gap of being relatable to people that have these diagnoses that I was talking about and tell you things that I did to get better. So just full disclosure, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I'm just a dude that's sharing his experience with people who are looking for some type of hope because GERD is a lot more serious than what people think, because that can turn into Barrett's, which turns in, if you don't take care of that, it could turn into cancer. So once I found that out, I really got serious. So like I was saying earlier, they sent me home to my family doctor. I went there. He scheduled me for a scope to go down my throat to see what was going on with my stomach, esophagus and everything. So that's where I figured out I had the Barrett's esophagus, gastritis, had all those things going on. So, they put me on PPIs, and I tried that for a while, but nothing was working. I never took prescription medicine like that a lot, but it just was not working. I kept eating the same food. And, you know, I finally got tired of it, and I started doing my own research. So I found Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Sean Baker, Eric Berg. He's more keto, but I was listening to them, and they started talking about other people who has, you know, reversed these diagnoses with the carnivore diet, with the keto diet. So it piqued my interest because nothing else was working. So I tried to go straight into carnivore, and I was pre-diabetic, so my blood sugar would just plummet, and I couldn't stay faithful to it for a long time because I was just so used to a different type of eating that, I mean, I felt like trash all the time. And come to find out, that's a normal process of, you know, detoxing this and all that stuff. So I created my own way of slowly transitioning into these type of diets. So the first thing I did is I wanted to transition over from processed food and processed sugars to natural foods and whole foods and natural sugars, bananas, you know, grapes, things like that. So I did that, and I got used to that, and I noticed some benefits for sure. I was still having the flare-ups and everything, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't burning as bad. So I started losing a little bit of weight. I went from 213 down to around 209, something like that, and I stayed around there. So this process of eating like that, I kept doing it for like a month, but during that time, each week, I would slowly remove a natural sugar. That way I could slowly transition into keto. And I figured it'd make it easy to do the slow transition versus trying to do, you know, just a hard transition like I started doing. So, hello, how you doing? So I started taking away the apples. Like week 1, I ate all the natural whole foods. Week 2, I took away the apples. Week 3, I took away the bananas. Week 4, I took away, you know, the grapes. And I'm hypothetically saying this has been 3 years ago, but this is the process that I did. And then that helped me go into keto. Now, I started noticing a lot of benefits from the keto diet. I come to find out my veggies of choice were beets and asparagus. I absolutely love that stuff. With a good mineral salt, this is just really good. So I started eating like that, and I wanted to go into the most strict version of carnivore, which was just like steak. That was it. And I did the same process with keto. I did that for a month, and I'd slowly take away one veggie at a time. Now, 2 weeks into the keto diet, I started getting keto flu. And you legitimately feel like you have the flu. If you are going through that right now and you're trying keto, that's a normal process. But I will say that it affects people differently. You know, it could last longer for you according to how strict you are, or it could be easier for you. We all react to things differently, and that's why this concept I'm going to tell you at the end is going to make sense no matter what type of diet you're doing. So I call this the elimination diet. But anyway, I would go removing a veggie at a time. So the first week that I did carnivore, I went to Sam's Club and bought, you know, just a bunch of ground beef and things like that. And I started noticing a lot of difference. I mean, 2 weeks into this thing, I lost a lot of weight. And that's when I noticed that my throat quit burning. Like, that was the biggest shock to me. Like, I always heard that fat was bad for you and that you shouldn't consume saturated fat. It's going to give you a heart attack. My opinion, that's all lies. Now, I started doing this, and then I started learning about fasting during this process. So, fasting is a game changer when you do this. I went to like 1 meal a day. See, what I was telling you earlier, I couldn't hardly fast for that long. I couldn't hardly stick with a diet that was low carb and no sugar because I was pre-diabetic. So guess what? Everything started to regulate. And 2 weeks into that, that's when I started noticing also that inflammation was leaving my body. I started putting on muscle like crazy. Like, I started going to the gym And I found something that was even more beneficial than going to the gym. And that was when I started sprinting. See, 2 weeks into the carnivore journey, it was easier for me now. Why? Because I slowly transitioned into it. I could stay faithful to it. There's a hunger hormone that's in your brain. It's called ghrelin. And if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, then that hunger hormone will go crazy. You can eat something and then like an hour later you are hungry again, but you're not truly hungry. So that started to regulate. I found Dr. Sean O'Mara, and he was talking about sprinting and how that burns visceral fat. See, I didn't know that you had two different types of fat. One type of fat is subcutaneous fat. That's that fat that you can see on the outside. And then you got visceral. See, this subcutaneous fat is the fat that is on the outside of your abdominal muscles. You can see that. It's not around your organs. Visceral fat is the fat that's surrounding your heart, surrounding all your internal organs. So, you know, I had reflux really bad. So my stomach would get pushed up and I had a hiatal hernia on top of that. So I started sprinting. And I noticed that, you know, I lost even more weight. At the end of the carnivore journey, I was 160 pounds. I went from 213 all the way down to 160. This whole process was about 4 months. So I stayed 8 weeks into the carnivore diet. I wasn't comfortable being that skinny. I had all these awesome benefits and stuff like that. But I believe, you know, if we consume the things that God has given us that are natural, we can get better. Now, we do process things differently. You know, a lot of things have been adulterated throughout history. So a lot of things now are different than they were in the Bible. I'm a believer. So, you know, there was a lot of bread in the Bible and things like that. So I believe it was a whole lot different in that time. But I wanted to figure out a way to get back up to 172, 175. That's where I feel the most comfortable. So I started bringing, because again, earlier I said that we all respond to things differently. So what I started doing is an elimination process. Like, okay, 8 weeks into carnivore. The first week after that, I started bringing back one thing at a time. I started out with spices. Let's say garlic. So I would eat nothing but the meat, the steak, and then I would season with garlic. And I had a notebook that I would, you know, log in. And after about 3 or 4 days, you would know if you got any more symptoms from that, especially after getting better, having your gut reset through the carnivore diet, having all your inflammation gone. You are going to know if that garlic is making you react in a negative way. So I did that. If it bothered me, I'd have it in the column that, you know, it upset my, it brought symptoms. I'd have another column, it didn't, you know, activate symptoms or anything like that. So I did that with garlic. And then after a couple days of that, I would bring back another spice. But once I brought back that other spice, I still took out the garlic. I wanted to make sure that I was using one thing at a time. A lot of hiking, man. Like I said, this is going to be raw. I'm not really going to cut this too much unless there's a lot of like dead space. But I'd bring back ginger. I always loved ginger. So I did that. Did all that through the spices that I always liked. It had to be natural though, organic, as much as possible. So I got a good log of my spices. Then I started doing it with vegetables. Same process, one at a time, nothing else. Even during the vegetable process, I didn't use any of the spices. Literally, you were only bringing back one thing with that meat. That is it, nothing else. So, started doing that, and then I went to the sugars. What was giving me sugar spikes? What were ways that I can combat against a sugar spike? And come to find out, cinnamon's really good for that. Ceylon cinnamon. A lot of the things that I use, I'm going to pin in the first comment, and I'm going to have it in health and wellness. But anyway, I call this the elimination diet. Now again, here's a picture of what I looked like before. I had all those diagnoses. And now I've put on the most muscle that I've ever put on in my life, and all these diagnoses are gone. Now, I will say I'm very transparent. I have a 52-week progress update video. All these things that I just told you, I did almost 3 years ago. And if you are in that spot right now, please consider giving it a try. Now, I'm not somebody who just wants to bark on here without showing you proof that these things work. So, I created that playlist because over the holiday, a little bit over the summer, I started getting some silent reflux symptoms. And started adding back, you know, I had too many carbs and I just started gaining weight. Weight is got a lot to do with this. That's why I was talking about that visceral fat earlier. See, that visceral fat is underneath your abdominal muscles, squeezing all your organs together, and it's just no good. You want to eliminate that. So sprinting really helped me. But I went back from 160 all the way up to 172 with adding back healthy carbs a little bit. I was mainly meat-based. Like, I eat more meat than anything else. So I cook in beef tallow, I cook in Kerrygold butter. Now I'm making my own butter because a lot of people's told me in my comments that there's a lot of PFAs or something like that in Kerrygold, the wrapper or something. But I started just making my own with heavy cream and stuff. So I show you all that stuff on here because it's my goal to help people like yourself be encouraged that these things can get better with the right diet and lifestyle changes. So if you're into that, please like, comment, subscribe. But I started this year doing the things that I always talk about in my videos because I want to show people that they work. Like I said a minute ago, I don't want to be somebody that just talks on here. I want to show you the proof in my own body. So January 1st, as soon as the clock hit 12, I started the process again of everything that I always talk about. And every 7th day I have uploaded a video, and I've got progress going on. Had some birthdays and things like that, so I'm not going to hide things from y'all. I've had some pieces of cake or something like that. I don't want to go there and not celebrate a birthday with somebody. So now, one of my last videos, I created a way to make cake that's low carb, and you won't feel that crash feeling afterwards, and won't have those reflux symptoms. So if you're into that, please check that out. But again, I just want to help people. That's it. So that's my story, and I can't wait. My doctors, all of them said, we'll just see you for your wellness visit. And then the gastro doctor was like, hey, you know, just come back in 3 years and we'll see what's going on. So that's my story of how I reversed all these things naturally through diet and lifestyle changes. All the things that I do are on this channel. Please check out the long form videos. They're going to be way more informative than these short form videos. They're short and to the point, but if you're serious, then please consider checking out some more videos. You're going to see if I have some shortcomings. You know, I gained a little bit of weight back, things like that. What I'm doing to help reverse that. What I'm doing to go strong in fasting, be more faithful with it. You get to see it all. It's going to be real. A lot of it's going to be raw. I'm not going to hide anything because I'm just like you. I'm not going to be on here, you know, living a fake life just trying to get views, okay? So I appreciate you guys. If you stayed this long in the video, please comment. I stayed to the end. Now, I am going to be on another podcast interview today. That's cool to me. People's hearing my story and they're wanting to interview me. But yeah, I'm going to share some posts about that where you can go check it out. But if you stayed this long, please comment. I stayed to the end. That'll encourage me that these things are helping you. And I just want to encourage you. God designed your body to heal itself, but it is up to you to give it the right fuel. And I want to help you figure out what that right fuel is. And if you do this elimination diet process, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to find out. Now, I have a free community and a free course, 100% free. I'm not trying to sucker anybody into anything. It's going to be the link in my bio on my profile. So please go check that out. And I'll accept you as soon as you send an invite. But thanks for staying, and I will see you in the next video. So the reason that I did the carnivore diet is because it's not full of sugar. Everything in here is natural. Your body runs on 2 different fuel sources. It's either going to run on fat for fuel, or it's going to run off of glucose. But for me, where I was pre-diabetic, figured I'd try this right here. And I don't know if you know this or not, but there's like 40-some thousand healthy components to ground beef, to red meat, and there's all kinds of healthy components right here in the egg yolk as well. A lot of people, me included, I used to throw these out. And once I started eating more fat, I started to get better. So if you're interested in seeing what I did, please check out one of the other videos.